We're back. Woo!
Welcome, welcome.
Chitty Chitty Bite Bang.
Is that a riff on Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
Yes,
And who sent that in?
it's from Thomas McGill.
Awesome. Thank you, Thomas.
Do you want to hear some BTS info?
Always up for that.
BTS. Minion Juliet is boring, terrible, shallow. I'm not shallow, but you're boring and terrible. Well, I hope not. Don't mope and waste time on hope because you're a dope. There used to be Ivan the terrible. Now there's Juliet the boring. I'm not gonna take the bait, Drusilla.
Don't you want to hear the magic behind the movie madness?
When you put it that way, I do.
Great. On sets, caterers provide cast and crew with full meals every 6 hours. If production goes over, they pay what is known as meal penalties. I know you're very well acquainted with this, Sire Rebecca.
Yes, and I'm a fan of it.
Awesome. Craft service, which is also known as crafty. Do you call it crafty or do you call it craft service?
Crafty. Yeah.
Well, crafty provides food and beverages in between the meals. Do you know when craft service originated?
No, I don't.
Ooh, it was in the 1960s in Hollywood as a way to keep cast and crew energized and productive during long work days. It became crucial for maintaining schedules so people didn't have to leave the set when they were hungry. The term craft refers to the various departments or crafts: actors, makeup department, grips, electricians, the costume department, production designer, etc., etc. In the early days of filmmaking, PAs, production assistants, handled providing food and drinks. Did you know that?
That I did know, and a lot of times we still depend on them to help us out.
For coffee runs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Craft service eventually became a union position represented by IATSE.
The craft service table on Buffy was always well stocked. We would often gather there in between setups and in between takes. There were lots of healthy foods like carrots and cucumbers and peppers, broccoli, all kinds of fruit, various nuts, trail mix, chicken breast, granola bars, and there was also popcorn, pretzels, bread, peanut butter, muffins, Oreos, Hershey's, all kinds of junk food, chips, cheese, wraps, and sandwiches too. I'll get to a story in a future episode where I had craft service rush an emergency peanut butter sandwich to Tony, but not now. We'll get to that later on.
Do you have a favorite on-set snack?
I eat pretty healthy on snack usually, but it's funny, Dev says it kind of also depends on the character that I'm playing, because even when I'm doing a theater run or something, I don't think this is the case, but he said, for instance, when we did Danny and the Deep Blue Sea, I always ate a certain meal, which is really different than what I normally eat before I'd go to the play. So potentially it works a little bit that way, but I usually go for the healthier vegetables and fruit and stuff like that. What about you?
Often I'll end up just having some sort of candy like Swedish fish in my bag because it's easy to keep in the set bag. But if it's like food that I'm in the mood for, we have cheese o'clock. After lunch, there's usually some sort of cheese platter. Sandwich o'clock when they do the first hot meal 3 hours after call. But I start looking for cucumbers. I find that that's like the thing. Maybe it's because we're all dehydrated, but that's like the go-to: cucumbers and hummus.
I do that too. So maybe you're right. Maybe that's the reason. The catering and the craft service was great on Buffy. The cast and crew made jokes that I could eat like a stuntman because I was always hungry in those days, always eating and refueling. Lots of things happened at the craft service table. Things like Gail Berman telling James and I about the Pamela Tommy Lee sex video being released while we've been shooting, or following election results and thinking Al Gore won, and at the same spot grazing at the table later learning that George W. had. I also remember on Angel, Christian asking for help from any number of us at Crafty because his dominant hand was otherwise engaged with his prosthetic glove, which made it very difficult for him to get food. He said he really wished he hadn't done it on his dominant hand and would never do that again.
The things that we learn once we don't have the options.
Yes. So it's time for the synopsis.
Synopsis. A brief summary or a general survey. Don't quote me, but I just love to compile, collate, posit, and then conclude. I'm summary gal. Yup, that's me.
This episode has air sucking instead of blood sucking.
Is that it?
You want me to spoon feed you and distill the whole episode's events down to a few sentences?
That is literally what a synopsis is.
No need to get testy.
I'm not testy. Sire, Rebecca, can you jump in?
Absolutely. Taking part in a cultural student exchange program and a museum field trip ends up being more eye-opening than expected for Buffy and the gang. When an Inca mummy princess rises from her sleep, she begins draining the life force out of anyone in her path. That is, until she falls for Xander.
Foreign types with the hookah pipe say, way oh, way oh, way oh, way oh. Walk like an Egyptian.
But she's Peruvian.
Walk like a Peruvian.
Okay. Well, speaking of walking, the opening walk and talk, as we call it, sets up that Sunnydale High is doing a cultural exchange. Our gang are on a field trip to the cultural exchange exhibit. The shots with the dinosaur bones were shot at the Natural History Museum here in Los Angeles. I shot there with Whoopi Goldberg on a film called Theodore Rex. It's used as a location for a lot of movies and TV. Have you ever shot there, Sire, Rebecca?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's a great location. So many movies have used it and so many TV series as well. We meet Rodney Munson.
Rodney Munster? Is he related to Lillian Herman?
Munson, not Munster. Willow says that he beat up Xander every day for 5 years. We can tell he's up to no good right away before he even sneaks in alone to see the Incan princess mummy and breaks the seal.
I was wondering what he was doing scraping the teeth of the mask into a Ziploc bag.
What do you think?
I don't know, because first I thought maybe he was trying to steal something, and then maybe he was just fascinated that the mask had food stuck in its teeth. I'm really not sure.
If Rodney had lived, he'd have had a great career as a dental hygienist. He.
Cute. This episode is directed by Ellen S. Pressman. She also directed Puppet Show in season 1.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
Why?
You'll see.
So cryptic.
So mysterious.
What did Ellen say when she finished filming Inca Mummy Girl?
What?
It's a wrap. He.
Okay. So the gang discover that Rodney is missing, and it really made me laugh when the mummy was shown to have braces.
That was a good tell that something was amiss.
Yes, exactly. Did you have braces?
No, my brothers thought that I always should have, which is a whole other side story, but I specifically didn't want to get braces because I told the dentist that when they found my skull hundreds of years from now, they would know exactly whose teeth these were.
You have beautiful teeth. You're so lucky. I had them for years.
Really?
Yeah.
What did the mummy say to the orthodontist?
What?
Let's wrap this up. He.
Cute.
Very cute. Oh my gosh. I remember getting my braces off and it being years later. And so all of a sudden your teeth feel so smooth and you can't believe it. And you can't stop running your tongue over your teeth when you get your braces off.
I could see that.
Speaking of tongues, why did the mummy get a job as a language instructor?
Why?
Because he was fluent in dead languages. He.
What is this?
He. Does it remind you of anyone?
Yes, it does. Sid.
The ventriloquist dummy from the puppet show.
Bingo. I brought Sid back. I'm trying him out as a gag writer.
You did what?
I used Chris and Eric's computations and Sid's alive.
Wow. Wow. Wait, but Sid says, ha ha.
I know. I'm massaging the material, making it my own.
All right, keep massaging. So the real Empada, wait, what are you doing?
You told me to keep massaging.
I meant your jokes. You really need to stay away from my neck.
Sorry, Rebecca. Do you want a massage?
Oh, God, your teeth are out. So, yeah, no, that's a hard no.
The real Empada is waiting for Buffy because she's running late. He hears his name being called in a whispery tone. Note to self. Never seek out the source of a random beckoning whisper. I don't want that type of kiss from a mummy. Do you?
Absolutely not.
Why did the mummy refuse a kiss?
Dare I ask?
Because he was all wrapped up in himself. Bada bing, bada drew.
What is that?
You didn't like he.
Araceli plays female Empada. She was 23 at the time, playing 16. After moving to Los Angeles, she landed a guest star on Saved by the Bell, The College Years. She shot several other guest stars on TV, including Nip Tuck. In 1999, she played Raquel Dion for 9 months on All My Children. She was also in Bruce Almighty, American Beauty, From Dusk Till Dawn 3, and played a reporter in Robert Rodriguez's film Machete. She married and moved to Texas Hill Country, near San Antonio, Texas. She and her husband own a barbering franchise in San Antonio, which is interesting. She has beautiful hair.
Incredible hair.
So gorgeous. She is now often seen in television advertisements for Universal Toyota car dealership in San Antonio, Charles Mond Toyota dealership in Austin, Bogus Ford dealership in McAllen, and Jim Norton T-Town Chevrolet in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She's really good in this episode. She lends a pathos to Empada. She doesn't play her strictly as a villain. I feel for Inca Mummy Girl.
I agree. No, you really get a connection between what her life was and what Buffy's is.
Yes, absolutely.
I like Inca Mummy Girl too. Inca, dinka-dink, gadinka-doo, gadinka-dee.
Was that a Jimmy Durante reference?
Yes, hardy ha ha.
Oh my goodness.
Sid is quite fond of Jimmy Durante.
Ah, that makes sense. So this is the episode where we meet Oz for the very first time. Oz is played by Seth Green. Seth was also in the Austin Powers trilogy, The Italian Job, and voices Chris Griffin on Family Guy.
There's no place like Oz.
In Giles's office in the library, Empada tells them about the bodyguard. She says he guards the mummy from anyone who would disturb her. Not exactly the whole or correct story here.
I'm a mummy.
Huh?
Spike, Darla, and Miss Edith are my babes.
Sure, but that is a different kind of mummy.
Oopsie dead daisy.
The phrase is oopsie daisy.
Did you not just watch School Hard where
You know I did.
explain that I plant daisies but they always die?
See it, so ergo,
I say oopsie dead daisy.
fine. Xander shows Empada a Twinkie.
Twinkies are revolting.
That's because you drink blood.
No, because they're 100% chemical.
Actually, they are revolting.
There once was a time I could have gone for a Twinkie, and that time has truly passed. It's one of those things that is better in the memory than it is actually.
But I think they were less chemically before. There were a few actual baking ingredients in them when we were younger.
I remember them tasting not bad. And the last time I tried one, I could barely take a bite. Even the smell of it just smelled really wrong.
Yes, it doesn't really taste remotely like food or a baked good. Xander shows her an interesting eating technique. By the way, as you know, Sire Rebecca, on movies, TV, and commercials, you have to eat so many of anything that you're eating in scenes because of takes, sizes of shots, and different angles. They often have a pot nearby to spit out the food in between. But in this scene, they eat them whole, so I wager no pot. Our job as actors is to make it look like it's the first time, every time.
I wonder how many takes they had to do with these Twinkies before they got it all.
I wonder how sick they must
Ugh.
have been at the end of that.
Never want to look at a Twinkie again.
Yeah, and no craft service or meal could
No.
cover up the amount of Twinkie in your system. In the episode before last, the Frankenstein monster myth was explored. Now we have the mummy. The show is moving through the classic monsters. The first mummy book was The Mummy, A Tale of the 20th Century, published in 1827. It was written by Jane Webb Loudon, who was 20 years old. It's interesting that Frankenstein was written by a young woman, too.
That is really interesting.
Yeah, isn't it wild? Because Mary Shelley was 18.
Yeah.
And she was 20.
Interesting.
The first mummy film was a short made in 1911, and then there was The Mummy, released in 1932 with Boris Karloff. He was like Madonna and Cher. No, he wasn't a rock star, he was an actor. I'm aware. He went simply by Karloff. I knew Billy well. Billy? Billy who? William Pratt was Karloff's real name. Oh, yeah, I knew that. He was lovely, an avid gardener. When he planted daisies, they never died. True. Someone else you know was named William Pratt. Yes, my spite before I sired him. Both were named William Pratt before becoming monsters. My cutie patootie. It's an Easter egg nod to Karloff in Buffy. I've never heard anyone talk about that.
No, but I'm always fascinated by just how much information there is layered within each episode and also within each character's backstory.
Yes, and that's one of the reasons you can watch the show over and over and over and find new things. The 1932 movie established many tropes of the genre. Let's talk about some of the other mummy movies. I like the way that sounds. Mummy movies. Try that 3 times. Really? Mummy movies, mummy movies, mummy movies. Oh, it's hard. Wait. Mummy movies, mummy movies, mummy movies. It is like one of those vocal exercises. You want to give it a go, Sire Rebecca?
Oh, Lord. Mummy movies, mummy movies, mummy. Yeah, I'm going to tap that early.
I think it's the third one that just makes it.
It is. You get overconfident in the second one, and then the third one, you just lose it completely.
We'll see. Everybody listening right now is going to be doing it, right? And trying.
Yeah, walking down the street, practicing, and looking forward to hearing it from people.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to hear it. Make your videos, send them in. Mummy movies 3 times. So as far as mummy movies, there was The Mummy's Hand in 1940, a sequel that introduced Kerris and recycled some of the footage from the original. The Mummy's Tomb in 1942 continued the Kerris storyline, with Lon Chaney Jr. taking over the mummy role. The Mummy's Ghost in 1944, another chapter in the Kerris saga featuring a female mummy alongside Kerris.
There was The Mummy's Curse in 1944, the final Kerris film resolving the story. Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy in 1955, a comedic twist on the monster movie. The Mummy in 1959, a Hammer film starring Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. Blood from the Mummy's Tomb in 1971, a British horror film loosely based on Bram Stoker's novel The Jewel of 7 Stars.
The Mummy in 1999, with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. The Mummy Returns in 2001, the sequel. The Scorpion King in 2002, a spin-off focusing on the character of the Scorpion King, played by The Rock. The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor in 2008. This one had Maria Bello instead of Rachel Weisz. And The Mummy in 2017, starring Tom Cruise.
Yeah, thank you for that. Another trope of these movies is that the mummy is lonely. Inca Mummy Girl ascribes to this one too. Giles figures out that the mummy feeds on life force and therefore may be Rodney's killer. The bodyguard attacks Xander. He wants the seal. What are you doing, Drew? Making seal noises to illustrate. Not that kind of seal. The seal that kept the mummy encased. He, bada bing, bada Drew, and boop, boop, be Drew. Oh, okay, that was a joke. Alrighty. Impata, like Buffy, she just wants to have a normal life. I never had a normal life. Even when I was human, I had visions.
You've always been special.
I'll say that's a good word for it. This episode is kind of contained and intimate. Each season has an overall arc, and then Monster of the Week episodes are interspersed. This is Monster of the Week, Mummy of the Week. Drew and Spike have been introduced, and we're waiting to see what this will mean for the story. Story schmory. I, for one, cannot wait to come back. It's sad. Xander finally gets a date. He's really gelling with someone, and she's a deadly mummy come to life.
But at least she likes him too.
Yes, but I hate when that happens. Xander brings up the praying mantis teacher, Natalie French. His dating record is now a couple of monsters. Here we go with the analogy of the show coming into play. The deeper meaning. Buffy uses the dark forces to illustrate our experiences. Many of us have experienced a track record of picking monstrous people. I'm glad you clarified people. I know many a demon, nicer than many a lad. In the bathroom, Empata sees the bodyguard. She, like Buffy, is called the Chosen One. She is the dark side of this coin.
It's interesting to see the two of them not explaining who they are to each other, but having their own internal realization about the lives that they've lived or have lost. But at the same point, there is a resignation into I am what I am.
Very much so. And Buffy only kills demons who put the world in danger. Empata kills for her own needs and her own ends. To that end, she sucks the bodyguard's life force. It seems like she needs a constant source of folks. A lot of people die in this episode.
There's a number of films, shows, and books that deal with the subject, almost like addiction. One could think that it's an equal exchange, one life for a life. So yours can extend based upon how many years you've taken from somebody else. But maybe she needs enough lives to equal the 500 that she's lost, and then probably more after that in order to have a full lifespan. But I don't know if it's necessarily worth all of the death.
Oh, so you're saying it's so many because of the 500 years that she's been dead.
Yeah.
Ah.
And then does it end up having to equate with what the lifespan would have been 500 years ago? So,
Like cats' lives
yes.
or something? Or the shorter lifespan.
Yeah, so now you might just need like one person's life, maybe two to cover your own basis, but then it would have taken maybe 4 to 5 per year. I don't know the math. It feels like it's a lot.
I was thinking resurrected mummies have one food group at least 6 times a day. Hee-haw. You see what I did just there? I did. Hee-haw. Oh my goodness.
After Empata feasts or feeds on the bodyguard, when she comes out of the bathroom, her lipstick is more glossy and vibrant. Her hair is flowing and fuller, and even there's rosy color in her cheeks. She's made quite a transformation. And so you're really seeing that it's not just filling a gap, it's filling her with somebody else's life.
Oh, yeah. You see that visually. And it's a nice musical score there when she comes out and tells Xander that she'll go to the dance with him. It sounds a little bit like a wolf howl.
Do you know who played the bodyguard?
Who played the bodyguard?
Gil Birmingham, who's on Yellowstone And he was on Poker Face. That was what was slapping me in the head.
You were watching going, wait, I know him.
I was like, I know that hair. I know that face.
Buffy and Impada bond over the pain of being the chosen one so young, having to give up things to fulfill one's duty to others. But Buffy doesn't know what that means in regards to Impada. Xander looks quite fetching when he dons his Clint Eastwood spaghetti western look. It's a good costume. You see, in this world there's two kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns and those who dig. You dig. Nice. The good, the bad, and the ugly reference. No, I was just saying that about you. You're a digger. Of course you were. Buffy's sad that she can't go to the dance, and it seems that Impada is fitting in so well and having the kind of life that she longs for.
It's amazing how Impada is more of a normal girl after 2 days of being alive than Buffy is at this stage in her life.
Yeah, in 2 days. Do you know the name of their band at the Bronze?
Oh, it just went right out of my head. What is it?
Well, the band is actually 4-Star Mary performing under a fictional name. Did the fictional name come back to you?
Dingo Ate My Baby?
That is right. Dingoes Ate My Baby. Ding, 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 ding. Yes. And this episode features them performing the songs Shadow and Fate. Oz is playing the lead guitarist. Cordy's new squeeze, Devin McLeish, plays the lead guitar. Devin is played by Jason Hall. Jason was nominated for an Oscar and a BAFTA for Best Adapted Screenplay for the Clint Eastwood movie American Sniper. Spoiler alert. Yes, he goes on to do 8 episodes. It's kind of funny that Xander is dressed as a Clint Eastwood character and Jason went on to work with Clint.
Foreshadowing in life.
So cool. 4-Star Mary also had tracks featured on Party of Five, Road Rules, The Real World, and Charmed. Do you know where the name Dingoes Ate My Baby is written and shown in the episode?
No.
The band name is on the drum kit. And do you know what Dingoes Ate My Baby is a reference to?
That is a little bit of a mystery to me because it's something that I've heard so many times over the years, but I don't know the source of it.
Ooh, the Lindy Chamberlain Creighton case in Australia. Lindy was married to Michael Chamberlain, a Seventh-day Adventist minister, and they had 2 sons, Aiden and Reagan, and a daughter, Azaria. Lindy worked as a dressmaker and tailor specializing in wedding dresses and was deeply involved with her church. In August 1980, while on a camping trip, 9-week-old Azaria disappeared. Authorities launched a frantic search. A week later, searchers found Azaria's torn, bloodied garment near a dingo's lair. The baby's body was never, ever found. The press, distressed by the mother's seeming lack of emotion, accused her of murdering the baby. The sentiment grew, and Lindy was charged with the crime. Prosecutors claimed that the dingo story was a lie. Dubbed as Australia's trial of the century, the case drew enormous attention. Despite the lack of evidence that the child was murdered, Lindy was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. Her husband, Michael, was also charged with accessory to Azaria's murder and served 1 year. Their 4th child was born when Lindy was in prison. In 1986, the baby's missing jacket was found, providing new evidence that an animal had attacked the baby. The court remitted Lindy's life sentence, and she was released from jail in 1992. The Chamberlains received $1.3 million from the Northern Territory for wrongful conviction. In 1995, Lindy's conviction was officially cleared. In 2012, a coroner ruled that the cause of Azaria's death was a result of being attacked and taken by a dingo. Boy, she had a rough ride there. And by the way, Meryl Streep did the film version.
That is absolutely horrific to know that you went that long knowing you were innocent and nobody believing you.
Yeah, and I remember that the whole reason was it seemed to people that she wasn't emotional. She seemed cut off when she was talking about it, and they felt like that was suspect, but that's not evidence.
No, and everybody responds differently in a situation like that. And when people go into shock, especially at the thought of your child being taken by an animal, how can you decide how somebody should properly be responding?
And we don't know how she responds in normal circumstances either. Maybe she's an unemotional person in general.
Mm-hmm.
The costumes at the dance are fun. I particularly liked the rocking rabbi at the bronze. Did you notice him in the corner?
He got his own spotlight when you walked in the door. Yeah.
It was great, and he was really into it, the way he was
Mhm.
dancing.
To be continued.
Shall we do the call out for the Battle of the Uber Buffy fans?
We have loads of submissions coming in.
We sure do.
If you want to be considered as a contender for this season's trivia battle, please email revamppod@gmail.com.
Yes, be sure to include your name, where you weigh in with your number of watch-throughs, where you're located, something interesting about you or something that you think would be good to share, and
Your social media handles.
Boop boop be Drew.
Let's get ready to Buffy!
Revamptees, please correspond with me on our Patreon page, Revamped with Juliet Landau, on Twitter, @Juliet Landau, on Instagram, @Juliet_Landau, and on the Fans of Juliet Landau Facebook group, or Juliet Landau official Facebook page.
Patreon peeps to be read in the credits: Dave Hall, Fawny June Kendall, Daniel Harbour, Louise Brennan, Brandon Key, Cameron Burton, Donnie Ruskin, Madeline Pruitt, Marion Stevenson, Antonio H. Gutierrez, and Bobby Pelham. It makes all the difference because we cannot keep making the show without you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Until we meet again.
See you next time when we do it again. Do it again. Until then, rewatch, revamp, reinvent, and be remarkable you.